Alrighty. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I don't get too many days where the wind's not blowing, so I'm catching up on my videos here. The weather's pretty nice out here. Ruru's over there kind of being cocky. Ruru, what are you doing? Acting like a crazy rooster. Alright, let's talk about police weapons, impact weapons, self-defense. Now, these weapons that I'm going to go over, of course, the government makes it okay for them to have these and to give these to their enforcers, but they make it illegal for the people to have. And all governments are that way because they want to keep the people at a disadvantage so they can't rebel. Which is why the gun push to get the guns away from citizens in the U.S. is gaining ground, and there ain't no telling where it's going to go. But another topic. So what I'm going to do is I just pulled out my little police bag there with all my, with some of them. I got some more in the house. I forgot to bring out the staff. But these are just impact weapons. When police are training, they don't like to call it a club or a billy club like they used to call it, because that sounds too aggressive and it makes liberal people nervous, and it's all about PC. You got to do the same thing and carry the same thing, but you got to do it nicely and say it in a way that doesn't offend somebody, because we're in this big PC America craziness to where you can't ever say what you think or can't say the truth. It's better to lie nice than to be truthful. So I'm going to call these different weapons what they are, and I'll go over them and kind of just describe them a little bit. So the most common thing that people are going to see is probably a club, a billy club. Of course, the technical term is, this is a police baton. Ooh, that sounds so much better than a billy club. Okay, whether I call it a billy club or a police baton, it's still the same thing. It's an impact weapon to hit, to cause pain, to get pain compliance. I go over this with my horse channel on people with bits. Put bits in a horse's mouth and they want to call it aid. It's to give the horse training and aid. It's a piece of metal in a horse's sensitive mouth to cause pain. This is a piece of wood designed to hit you and cause pain, and the way we're going to say it in the report when we testify is I wanted him to stop his resistive or aggressive behavior, or I was defending myself, or I was in fear, or I had to use greater force to overcome the force being used by the suspect, blah 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 blah. Anything to make it feel good. Basically what I'm saying is, you didn't do what I told you, so I hit you. Or you came too close, or you didn't listen, so I hit you in order to get you to comply. Now, for some reason, if I call this a police baton, it sounds better. Okay, whatever. And a police baton, I'm going to give you a couple of moves on some of these weapons that I'm pulling out, because they're all basically the same move. They all kind of do the same thing. When you're talking about impact weapons with people, you're talking about hitting or causing pain. If I hit somebody in the leg with this, it doesn't cause near the pain as if I hit them in the wrist with bone. I cannot hit myself as hard as I'm doing this. I can't do that here. Damn. I can't do that where the bone is. So in police training, they teach us to go for targets for maximum pain, and that's where the skin is the thinnest and the bone is the closest. So I don't want big muscle areas to where it doesn't hurt. I want bony, thin areas to where I cause the most amount of pain. So, as somebody protecting yourself or defending yourself, you need to realize what your target is when you're in a fight. You can't just be railing and not having a good target or a plan. So you want to go for weak areas. The eyes with the thumbs are always great areas. If I don't have nothing in my hands and I can get a thumb in the eye, in the throat or neck, if I can grab the windpipe and squeeze, if I can karate chop or bang, use the hand on the windpipe, very sensitive areas. Those are what I want. Another great target area, it's called the TMJ, tembibular mandibular joint. Might have said it wrong, I haven't used it in a while. I used to know it when I was testifying as a use of force guy, but I want to go for the TMJ. And that's basically right by the earlobe right where the jawbone connects. If I can move that jaw just a quarter of an inch or even less, I fall. They call that a boxer's jaw. When somebody gets a good punch, you see the legs go stiff and the guy falls flat out, they've moved that jaw a quarter of an inch, or they've moved it to where they've impacted the TMJ. So those are my target areas. The neck and throat are probably the greatest target area for guys. The groin area is a good target area. But the groin area isn't as great. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I've taken a kick, a good hard kick, and it really didn't hurt me. And I've taken a little bitty kind of flip of a back leg like this, and it dropped me to my knees. So it all depends. Everyone's going to start crowing here. So it all depends on what your target area is and what you're trying to accomplish. Again, if I'm using this baton as a raking, and again, I can use any instrument that I have in my hand. I can use keys, I can use my knuckle, I can use my fist. I don't like using a fist like this because this is a weak point. So somebody that's really punching, unless you really practice punching and getting that straight wrist, I like using a palm heel strike or a bottom fist strike. Those are my two favorite strikes. You can hit somebody really hard with this and it doesn't take a lot of pressure and it hurts. It's called a bottom fist. Or a palm heel, the palm and the heel right there, I can get a good jamming. And women, this is really effective for women because women don't have as strong as wrists. They're usually a little bit tinier. So it's much easier for them to spring a wrist if they're trying to throw a punch. But throwing a palm heel strike or a bottom fist strike, very effective. I can throw a bottom fist strike to the jaw or a palm heel strike to the jaw, that TMJ right underneath there. I can do it close. I can get a lot of power with my hips. Those are good strikes. Again, thumbs to the eyes, throat, chalk. If I give a palm heel, if I give that to a throat, I'm pretty much, it doesn't matter how big the guy is. I think the throat's a better target than the groin. I think the eyes are a good target. TMJ is a great target. Now with batons, I can't be going to the throat because then it's considered deadly. So I have to go to different target areas. Collarbones, elbows, forearms, hands, knees, shins. Those are the areas when I'm trying to strike with a baton. Thanks for that, Ruru. So when you're doing a strike, a lot of things are technique. I taught a lot of cops, man. Most cops can swing a straight baton like a bat. No problem. They know how to do that because they're not swinging back. But when I try to teach them a good backhand strike and get some power in there to come in and really take out a backhand strike, they don't seem to get it. The thing about a backhand strike is it's an uncoiling. Kind of like when I coil, I'm coiling back and I'm releasing this coil for a strike. Well, with a backhand strike, you got to coil the other way and then coil forward and get that strike. A lot of people try to do this and you don't get any, it's like, I don't like hitting with a backhand. Man, I've taken a lot of people out with a backhand. I play racquetball, so I've got a pretty good backhand. But man, if I come at you with this baton and I come down, it hurts. So this is a straight baton. The strikes that someone is taught with a straight baton is usually a jab. I can jab it when I'm pulling it out of the holder. I can come right up into the jaw and hit the jaw. I can hit the sternum right in here, thin area, close to the bone. If I rake down there or rake up, if I have it out, I can just rake down the sternum. That's going to really back somebody up. It's going to hurt. So if you got a stick or something, and any stick will work, broomstick, whatever, doesn't have to be a police baton. It's any stick at all. So a rake, a jab, straight down to the collarbone, rib cage, jab that rib cage, come back, jab that rib cage, come back in a circle strike, come straight down to that chest. All those moves are going to do a lot of damage, and I'm not moving a whole bunch. And again, I'm going to show you with these other weapons, you kind of do the same move. So if you've got the basic moves down, you can use any weapon or anything you have in your hand. I mean, a great impact weapon used to be the phone. Had a receiver, you grab in the middle, it's got two big round things, speaker. Man, in the younger days, if I was in a fight in the house and I could get a phone, man, I was deadly. It was a great weapon because you get it in that hand and it had a good handle that you could hang on to it. Now, the PR-24 Same thing, it's a straight baton. I can do all those moves I just did, except it gives me this extra like T-handle right here, which gives me more strength. Somebody's less likely to take this PR24 than a straight baton, because a straight baton I'm holding like this, where my wrist is weak. Here my wrist is very strong, and it's very hard to pull this away, especially if I get two hands on here. It also gives me the ability to really get a good strike in. So I can really put a lot of force in here. I can come around and put a lot of force in here. So the PR24, I mean, is it better than a straight baton? I like it a little bit better because I can hang on to it. I can do some blocks. I can come across. It just gives me a little bit easier way to handle it. I can do all that with a straight baton. I can block my hand. I can come in. I can do pretty much what I can with this one, but this one just gives me a little bit better handle. Can you make one of these? Yeah, pretty easy. Put a piece of wood, put a screw in here, get you another piece of wood, and you pretty much have a PR24. If this is round, it just makes it a little bit easier. When I'm doing a one-handed strike here, I'm coming like this. When I'm doing a one-handed strike with this, I'm getting a little bit of whipping. I'm getting an arcing movement, which gives me a little bit more, and it just swings a little bit better. So I think I can get a little bit more power out of this. I like the PR24. There's guys that just love the straight stick. I don't care. I'm pretty proficient in either one. I'll take either one if I don't have nothing. This is a plastic PR24, hardened plastic, polymer, whatever. This one's metal. Metal sounds better when you hit something because it gives that ding. And even when you hit a bone, it goes ding. It's a very unique sound when you hit bone with metal. This has a spinnable piece of that spins, so that supposedly gives you a little bit better whip if I want to come around, and it swings a little bit better. It may look better. I'm not sure if it gives me that much more power. I mean, it maybe look cooler because I can come around and I can move it a little bit easier, but once you learn how to grip your other PR24, you can pretty much do the same thing. So metal better? Plastic? I don't know. Metal's heavier, so if you're carrying around a lot, this one was a pain in the butt. This one was from Vallejo PD. It still has a badge number on it. It's seen some some use, let me tell you. So, and then this is just a straight metal one that the whole handle, plastic, kind of spins. But it doesn't spin that great. And actually, I think it's just a break. It wasn't designed to spin. I think it just broke. But again, metal, plastic handle, PR24. And again, all the strikes are the same. I've got a short jab, I've got a long jab, I've got a rake, I've got a power strike where I come down and I'm swinging around, I just come way back. I got a circle strike where I can come in, circle strike to the gut. I mean, I can jab, I can push, I can block, come in. All the strikes are the same with most batons. So once you use, this is the old straight wooden baton. I took some parachute cord and I did some whipping on it just to give me a little bit of handle because I didn't like plastic. And again, jab, one-handed strike, jab, backhand, jab, two-handed strike, circle strike, power chop to where I come down on top. All the movements are pretty much the same, and as long as you have something in your hand, this used to just be the old billy club. You can make one of these, you can have one of these. And again, some people, they sell these in most of your truck stops. They call them tire checkers. That way they're not a crime. In California, it's a crime to own one of these because a bunch of freaking liberals, they don't want anybody to defend themselves except the brutal cops. So they make it illegal to hold these. But there's ways around it because everything's terminology. You can have most weapons, impact weapons in California, if you don't call them an impact weapon. You can't say this is for defense, it's to beat somebody up, it's to protect myself, because then it becomes a weapon. You can call it, and how they sell it in stores legally there, is they call it a tire checker. I can hit my tires, the 18-wheelers can hit their tires and make sure they're full. So they call it a tire checker. Or they use it to knock out frogs if they're a fisherman, they call it the fish whacker. So they have different names to where you can play games with special wording in order to make illegal things legal. And again, most of the things in law enforcement you're going to get caught up with the government is your terminology. what you say it's used for, and were you in fear or were you not in fear? Were you the aggressor or were you the victim? And being aware of that wording, as I say it a lot, I was in fear of my life or my personal safety. I was protecting myself for protecting others. I felt in danger. I was scared. Those are key frames that you want to use. If you use force, you get some sort of violent impact. Now, a little short stick like this, I can still jab. I can still rake down the front. I can come up to the jaw. I can do an overhanded strike. I could do a circle strike. It'll be shorter, but it's still a stick, and I still got the same basic moves. So, for a while, a lot of people were carrying these. We got these in the Air Force when they first came out, and everybody thought it was cool because it was littler. It wasn't always banging into things and getting, but when I wanted to come out, I swing it and it slides out. Now I have a longer reach. Now I have a straight baton that we were talking about, and I can use this baton in a long way. And then when I want to put it up, I push a little button and it expands back down. And they call this the expandable baton. Can I use this as a short baton? Sure, I don't have to expand it. If I'm up close and personal with somebody, I can jab them here. I can come right down their chest. I can bang them. I can come with a backhand and go right to their jaw. I mean, there's a lot of things I can do with this when it's little, but if I can get it out, and sometimes just pulling it out gives that, uh-oh, this dude might hit me, I better chill out. It's called, they call it command present in police work, but it's just basically an intimidation. If I pull my baton out like this, you better stop or I'm gonna get this baton and you're gonna be sorry. That's not near as impacting if I go, hey, you better. It's all about command coming across, and that's, I call that being a victim or being a person who's gonna defend themselves, being someone who's gonna survive, a survivor. So, again, are these illegal? Legal? When I taught impact weapons, some of the agencies let you carry nunchucks. I think these are made in Colorado. I forgot who makes them. They're really well done though. They've got the ropes coming in there nice. They're a nice set of chucks. They're plastic. They got the square ends. Good for jabbing. Now most people are going to think if you're teaching nunchucks, I want to be teaching all this and moving around and swinging and those are great, and it may look good and it may keep somebody back, but a lot of times we're not teaching all that. What we're teaching is this is more of an impact weapon or a control point. I can jab, I can come down, I can come across, I can push this in your throat, but ideally if I can get your hand in here, I can wrap this around your hand and get a loop and square, and it gives me a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure. If I can get this around your hand and loop, if I can come up behind you and loop this in here and then just cross my hands, it's amazing how much pressure. I can cut a hand off almost with one of these. So a lot of this was jabbing. You know, if I come back in a straight over the hand on one of these and I tell them knock it off, don't get me wrong, I can get an extreme amount of force on that. If I hit you with one of these strikes, it's gonna be pretty bad, okay? But this and this and this and all this, that kind of looks good and it shows you're proficient, and I like people to be proficient with it, because if you can do all that, then you're not going to have a problem with the other strikes and wraps and uses of a nunchuck. Again, the nunchuck was designed because they took the ability of citizens to take care of themselves, and so the farmers designed these and used them for chopping stalks, and they didn't use them as a weapon, they were used as a tool for cropping, for developing their crop. And then they would practice at night and using them for weapons, and that's how the nunchuck came around. It wasn't somebody designed this weapon just to design it. They designed it because they didn't have any choice, because government took their weapons away, so they had to come up with other ways to defend themselves. And this was one way. And the sickle, and there's all kind of other, the staff. A lot of things were developed because of government coming across and doing the things that they shouldn't be doing. So nunchucks, good tool, I like them. If you're using them, the most common thing when you're starting is you're going to hit your elbow. I put elbow pads on, because when you start doing all these, it's very easy to hit yourself. You're going between your legs and doing all this other crap. You're going to hit yourself, but once you learn how to use them and move them, they're a pretty effective weapon, and they can keep people at bay. I can just swing like this, keep people at bay. I can twist this around, and this is a very effective strike. It's hanging low, and if you come in on me, I can just, it's very quick to get you to back up or to take your jaw out. So it's a very effective weapon. I like the chucks. I think I got a set in here that I haven't. This is an old set that I bought a long time ago. This has chains and swivels. Again, a little bit longer chain. It's going to give me a little bit more distance. My reach is going to be longer because I have a longer chain. I can do a little bit more wrapping and get something across and snap a wrist or an ankle or something, get somebody down. Chain's a little bit better than a rope. Makes a little bit more noise. And it's a little bit heavier. So, this was an old sap that people used to carry. They call it a lead weight. Most common term is a sap. It's a lead weight with like a spring that's wrapped in leather. So it's kind of flexible. But man, when you swing this sucker, it hurts. It's a piece of lead. And most people would carry it in their little sap pocket on police pants. And then if you need it, you just pull it out and go, hey. And it doesn't take much to snap a dude on the elbow or the arm or something real quick and go, hey. And they're like, ow, crap. And it gets their attention. A lot of states have outlawed these even for cops because it's too easy to hit somebody in the temple and kill them. But to me, that makes it a very effective weapon. Can you make one of these? Sure. Put a piece of lead and put your spring, put your handle on it. And this is spring right here, and this is a piece of lead. And put you some sort of strap on it, and it's a very, very effective weapon. Again, I can use this like the baton. I can do a jab. I can come up. I can hit the TMJ. I can rake it around here. I can come in and I can jab that piece of steel in your chest. I can hit you in the eye with it. I mean, I can do a lot of things with this. So, a lot of the moves are the same no matter what weapon you have. Another example of the short baton that went into, I can use this baton. It's kind of like as a Kubaton. I'll show you what a Kubaton is in a minute. But I can hold this, it makes my fist stronger, but it gives me that bottom fist strike. When I hit you with a bottom fist with this, it puts all this pressure on a small point, it hurts like crap. I can hit you this way, I can come across this way, I can backhand you, I can come across your chest, I can jab you in the throat, I mean I can hit you in the neck, there's a lot of things. But then if I wanted to reach out and touch you, again, this is an intimidation, I can swing it out and it expands and it locks into place. So now I have a little bit longer, it's solid, it's hard, and that's steel and it hurts because it's small. And when I hit this with skin, oh shit, it hurts. And I don't have to, if I hit you hard with this right here, oh man, it's brutal. But if I hit here or here, muscle areas, not that bad. Again, target areas, what am I going for? Skin close to the bone, bones close, thin skin, not a lot of muscle. Those are my targets when I'm trying to incapacitate or cause pain on somebody. That's how I want somebody to stop whatever they're doing. Whether I'm the victim being raped, assaulted, robbed, or whether I'm the cop trying to fight some knucklehead. Or if I'm somebody that the cops are beating the hell out of me. You know, you have the right to defend yourself, or used to. I don't know if you can anymore. Hell, the way this country is, I don't think you can do anything from the government. This was another little expandable thing, but it's kind of flexible. So when it comes out, it's got a little whip. So once it locks out, I get that whip, so that gives that little metal piece, gives me that whipping loction. So when I'm swinging it, I'm getting a little bit more of a whip, and that's just going to give me a little bit more power when I'm hitting somebody. And this is another kind of flat sap, same thing as a sap. The other one was rounder. This is a piece of metal, kind of a little bit stiffer. It's got a metal piece in there with lead right here. Same thing, kind of whips. Ow. That's not bad there. If I did that there, oh, no way. So again, same type of things. I'm going to come down, I'm going to hit you in your chest, I'm going to rake your chest, I'm going to hit you in the jaw, I'm coming down on top of the clavicle. Ow, that hurts. Bone right here, there's not a lot of bone and muscle in there, that shoulder, that bone, coming to the neck, jaw, TMJ, really just close in. If somebody's grabbing you and you're fighting close, these little weapons are really great if you go for good target areas. But you have to know your target areas. Oh, what the hell else did I have in here? I didn't bring out a long staff, which is basically a broomstick. If this was long and I was walking with it, same thing. It's long, I can come across, I can do a two-handed strike, I can circle, I can block, I can jab at a distance, I can take out legs at a distance. So it doesn't matter how long the stick is. The old riot batons used to be 36 inches, a little bit longer than this, so we could use them to push people back on riots. Then if we had to reach out and touch them, we could, and then we could go back and keep the line straight. So those are basically all kind of things that I think anybody can build, anybody can use. Notice my head's been cut off because I've been wanting to keep it on the baton. So, which one's a favorite? Which one's the best? I'm not sure if there is a best. I think you ought to be as proficient as you can with most weapons. The key about weapons and impact weapons is anything that I can impact you with. I can throw this, but my odds of hitting you is less than if I hold this in my hand. If I hold it in the bottom of my hand and I'm doing that bottom fist strike, I've just put a rock there. And this could be a set of keys, this could be a Coke can, this could be a roll of quarters, it could be anything. And when I hit you, I increase the force on what I'm hitting you with a bottom fist strike. I like the bottom fist strike. I think it's an effective strike. It's a no hands, it's called weaponless defense. And when you're teaching weaponless, which I'm an instructor of weaponless defense, I'm teaching you how to defend yourself with no weapons. Hence the word weaponless. So I don't have a rock. So I have hands and I have takedowns and you know how to roll and you know how to twist a wrist and how to get a wrist off you and how to use leverage and how to get in close and use those bottom fists, multiple bottom fist strikes, multiple palm heel strikes, elbow strikes. All these things up close are very effective. But if you never practice it and you don't understand it, you can go to the gym and get a bag, you can put a bag on your place and practice, you know, the knee. I mean, a brilliant strike, especially for a woman, is if you got a guy in the balls or you get him to where he bends over at all, if his head's anywhere in your grabbing area, you wrap those hands behind that head and you pull that head into that knee and you drive that knee up. Man, if you can break that nose, you're going to be scot-free. He's going down. Not a lot of people are going to be able to take pulling a head strike and throwing the knee up. So you've got this force and you've got this force, and when they meet, it's brutal. It's a great strike. Again, weaponless defense is using things when you don't have a weapon. Thumbs to the eyes, clapping the ears, popping them as hard as time, multiple times. Never do anything once. When I'm teaching with guns, I always talk about double tap. I never pull my gun and go bang. It's always bang, bang. I must double tap. Don't ever rely on one strike. If I hit you in the jaw and I think, man, I got that team J, I'm gonna hit him once. Hell no. I'm gonna hit him 2 or 3 times. Multiple strikes. Keep going at that jaw. Keep going to that target area. If I miss 1, 2, 3, 4, I may hit it on 5. I'm stunning him. I'm distracting him. I'm making him think, instead of attacking you and hurting you, how do I get this pounding off my jaw? But it's got to be multiple fast strikes. It's got to be multiple fast strikes. Palm heel, sides. You're just really going into that neck, throat, face area when you're doing a weaponless defense type scenario. When you got weapons, you can stand back, you can defend yourself, etc. So, anyway, a little bit on weaponless defense. I really don't have a partner. I can't go into all the takedowns and twists, and there's like 164 different moves. So, in order to get proficient in all of them, you have to do them all a lot. I mean, our instructor class was 2 weeks, and I mean, we worked on so many maneuvers every day, and then at the end of the day, they had to attack us. They'd pick different people to attack us on different maneuvers, and we'd have to use maneuver. And it became second nature. That's when we were on our game. We were in shape. We were doing it. Over time, you lose that. Over time, I just did my rappelling videos. I haven't pulled out. I haven't tied a butterfly in a while. I haven't done a lot of those things in a long time, so it took a second for me to pull back into my toolbox, pulls out, because I'm not proficient, because I'm not using it every day. I mean, best advice in the world is if you want to get something done right, get it done by somebody who does it all the time. Most cops are better fighters than non-cops. Why? Because they fight more. They do it more. Now, there's a lot of wimpy cops that don't fight and they just stand around and they hide and they're the last one on the scene. So it's not all cops. But cops who are out there fighting and doing and messing with the gangbangers and the prison guys and really fighting every day, they are better fighters because they've had to use their techniques. They've figured out what works and what doesn't work, and they've learned in the process through experience, and experience is the best teacher. So, are you going to get good with any of these weapons by just practicing? No, but you will at least develop muscle memory, you'll develop strength in the movements, and you'll develop that muscle memory to where when you're in a crisis, it's going to slow down your lag time to think, you're going to react. That's why all your black belt and your karate guys do their katas and their blocks and their strikes and their move forward and one person and turn. You do that so many times, you control the body. Then when something happens, you're not thinking kata, you're reacting to the same things that you've been practicing over time. So, like anything, the more you use it, the better you get. The more you shoot, the better you get. The more you carry a gun, the more comfortable you are, you know where it's at. the more you practice with these. Oh, I forgot to tell you what a Kubaton is. This is a Kubaton. This is great. I love these. Piece of wood, I don't know, you can probably get them in metal. Basically, it's a round piece of wood. Put some little finger holes in it right here. And usually when I fly, I'll keep this in my bag. And when they ask what this is, I tell them it's a massage. It's I've got sore muscles and this helps mold out of muscles. And usually they let it go because it's not a weapon. Now, of course, they watch this video, now they're going to start taking them. But this is basically a Kubaton. It looks like a piece of wood. I can carry it in my pocket, my back pocket. I can carry it in my sap pocket. It's always there. And then when I jab you, it's got a little smiley face to say, guess what? This is going to hurt. So this is the same thing as a short baton, but again, it makes my fist strong. It gives me strike here. It gives me a bottom fist strike. It gives me a rake down the chest. It gives me a jab. It gives me a TMJ strike right on that jaw. These are a great little tool. And I mean, I thought I had a little metal one over here. This little thing here, they make them now where they squirt out mace. So you get a little safety and you squirt it. It's got a mace canister inside. This one happens to expand. This is a metal Kubaton that people keep on their keychains. Again, when I grab this, it gives me a strike. I can bottom fist strike. I can jab you. I can rake you. I can stick it in your eye. I can come across that TMJ with multiple strikes. If I have two, I can double jab. I can multiple strike. Little bitty pieces of wood is really effective. I can't tell you the number of people that I've given a jab in the rib cage or across the chest, and they were suddenly like, holy shit, that hurt. What the hell was that? And it got their attention. It broke their, I'm gonna beat your ass, I'm a badass, and it made them stop and think, damn, that hurt. Am I really prepared to go through this? So, impact weapons, talked a little bit about weaponless defense. These are the tools that the government's trained their people on, and then they tell you, mainly women, this is what you need if you get raped. Really? Really, people? I can't believe it. I'm going to give my guys, the government, we're going to give our guys all this because they need it. They got to defend themselves. You peon citizen rape victim coming in crying to us, wanting us to take a report, here's what you get. This will protect you. Really? Holy cow. We're a lost society. All right. Hopefully that helps. And I don't know what my time is, 32. Hopefully I can post this, man. I want a long time. All right, we'll end that there.